When I'm working with men, one of the passages we talk about when it comes to marriage and husbands and wives, one of the passages we talk about is in Ephesians, where it discusses giving up your life as a husband, giving up your life for your wife. And men tend to gravitate towards something like that. It's what we're willing to do. We're going to jump in front of the moving train. We will go into the burning building. We're going to do whatever we need to do. We will die for our wives. But there's a little bit more that we need to think about with this passage and with this verse, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. So let's get started. All right, as we begin, I'm going to go over to Ephesians. This is Ephesians 5:25, and it says this: "For husbands, this means love your wives, just as Christ loved the church. He gave up his life for her." And that's the part that men hear and they resonate. They're like, yeah, I'm going to do that if I need to. I will take a bullet, right? I'm going to do whatever I have to do. If that means I have to die for her, I'm going to die for her. However, these same guys, these same men, when I talk with them, they're not willing to necessarily live in that same way. For example, they might say, well, I'm going to keep the bank account separate. That's mine. I'm going to keep my hobbies separate. Those are mine. I'm going to keep these parts of my life separate. That's all for me. She has her own problems. She has her own issues. She has her own stuff to deal with. And I'm going to keep everything else separate. Oh, I'll die for her. I'm just not going to live together in unity really with her. We'll get together maybe on the weekends, or maybe we'll get together after work. But I've got my own stuff going on. I can't be burdened with actually giving up some of the things that I might want to give up in order to live a unified, strong marriage, strong relationship together. This is a problem, guys, because what you need to realize is that passage doesn't end with that part of verse 25. There's more to it. So let me read it again, but I'm going to read the rest of it and not just stop at verse 25. So it goes like this. Verse 25, "For husbands, this means love your wives just as Christ loved the church. He gave up his life for her." And then we continue. "To make her holy and clean, washed by the cleansing of God's word. He did this to present her to himself as a glorious church without a spot or wrinkle or any other blemish. Instead, she will be holy and without fault. In the same way, husbands ought to love their wives as they love their own bodies. For a man who loves his wife actually shows love for himself." So there's a lot more here than just, I'm going to die for her. It's about how you live together. What are you teaching? How are you leading? What are you doing that is going to make it easier for her when she stands before the one righteous judge? And if there's anything that's happening in your life, if there's anything that you're doing right now that isn't going to help her on that path, that isn't going to help her on that quest, isn't going to help her on that goal of what is it going to be like the day that she stands in front of the righteous judge, then you need to really reconsider where your priorities are as a husband. Because your marriage is not supposed to just make you happy, although clearly happiness is part of marriage. It's supposed to make you holy, and it's also supposed to make her holy. She should be more holy because of being with you. She should be more ready, more willing, more able, so to speak, to stand in front of God because of her time with you. So is that happening? Or are you still focused on your own personal, selfish, the things that you want to do, the things you want to accomplish, the things you want to get done? Or have you really taken that next step? And you're willing to not only die for her, but you're willing to live alongside her and take this direction in Ephesians to heart, that it's part of your job, part of your responsibility to teach and to lead and to guide, so that when she is one day standing before that righteous judge, it's going to be better for her that she spent time with you. Please be sure to subscribe to this show wherever you listen to your podcast or if you watch on YouTube. Your subscriptions, your ratings, your reviews, your comments, they help other people find the show. So thank you for that. Head over to significantman.com and sign up for Intel. It's the free weekly email series that I write. Sometimes it's devotion, sometimes inspiration, sometimes just something for you to think about as you go through your week. It's free, it's fast. Head over to significantman.com and get Intel today. All right, enjoy the next show.